we'll start, I guess, with the more immediate news. End of season roster decisions. Was there anything about that was particularly difficult?
No, not really. No, I mean, it's always difficult, these decisions, but bottom line, you prepare yourself throughout the season and you monitor those players. You know those players better than anybody, and every day we see them in training, so it's just a part of the job, really. Difficult decisions. It's not easy. Some of the boys done everything they could. If you want to build this club and go for the next level, next step, I think some of the boys need to find the time to play somewhere else because they're not getting enough minutes. So yeah, it wasn't really that difficult.
I asked you the same question I started out asking Dean. What do you feel is missing from this club?
Trophy, I'd say. I generally believe that this year we would go a little bit further and fight for the trophy, MLS Cup. But I think if you're asking about roster, what we need, clearly the immediate need is to try to replace Adilson Malanda, because we need another central defender. We need a midfielder who is more dominant. I think the midfield potentially were part of the problem in the 3 games against New York City. Although everyone thinks that the attacking was a problem, but I think, in my opinion, our midfield were not dominant enough, and we were bossed in the midfield by 2 of their players who, fortunately, not going to play next game against Philly. So I think it'll be a big loss for the New York City. And I think we potentially need a little bit more kind of leadership, a little bit more experience in a team, which we're going to address.
How difficult is it to find central midfielders, Pep aside, but central midfielders who are so good both offensively and defensively that fit in Dean's system? Because I know you've had midfielders who are defensively oriented, you've had some who are offensively oriented that did not necessarily see the field.
It's not that difficult. All you have to do is go and watch Champions League games and pick one of those guys that play in AC Milan or the Juventus, but that's the problem, I guess. Then you can identify them pretty easily. How to get them in, it's a difficult thing. It's the problem sometimes of this league is these rosters is every player needs time. I'll go back to the player that we had in year 1, Jordi Alcivar. I watched him recently, and he's playing better than ever. But he's now 26, I believe. And it took 3-4 years for him to become a player that is dominant player and being a dominant in the midfield. And we didn't have that luxury of giving him that time. And that's the part of the problem of this league, and something that I hope the league will address going forward, because there's some of the changes are very positive, but they need to also look at how we can strengthen our rosters, how we can build a bigger rosters, how we can potentially spend more money in a salary cap and eventually have a better product on the field.
I'm going to dovetail off that. I'm glad you went there, because you were a big proponent of the schedule change. But I think from what you've said, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you've always said, yes, that's great, but there needs to be more in addition to that.
I believe that this is just one of many changes that are coming. If this is the only change, that's not good enough.
What would you like to see?
I need to see a different model with DPs. We either need more DPs or we need more flexibility to bring more players. We need a bigger roster. We only have 20 senior roster players. So when you look at the team, you want to have 22 good players, but it's very, very difficult when you have 20 senior roster players, some of the goalkeepers in those 20 senior roster. So it's very difficult to build. So you've seen us this season. We lost the Nate Byrne, and we lost the left back Toffolo and Suleiman Dubia, and we couldn't replace him. We didn't have a ready replacement that is a similar level. I'm not asking we have to have a similar 11 on a bench or behind from the 11 they're playing, but at least that they can actually compete.
You kind of hinted at a transformational move when we sat here a year ago, turned into Wilfried Zaha. do you have another one of those in your bag?
Not in the bag yet, but I'm working on, to be honest, the front office is working on the players, bringing the players. We'll see what is available as well. Again, January window is not very friendly window for us. It's very difficult. It's, either we looking at the players that other teams don't want, which obviously it's dangerous because we don't know who are these players. We need to be very careful. Second, often we're looking at the players that are not playing. If they're not playing, we can't really see their recent form. We can't watch them live because if they're not playing. So there's a lot of obstacles in January. This is why I'm a big proponent of moving the schedule and starting in the summer, because we'll be able to build the team the same time when everybody else builds. And there are a lot of free agents. There are all good players on the market. Then hardly any free agents in January window, unless maybe few in Latin American countries. But traditionally, Latin American countries and the clubs are very, very smart. They don't really let players' contracts expire. Really, they don't. So it's very difficult to find a solid players in, let's say, Brazil, that are free agents, unless they're 36.
All right, Jorge?
How'd the conversations start and go about you signing a new contract?
Well, we had a discussion since the summer, really. The Mr. Tepper and David Nicole and I, we had a discussion in July, and then, to be honest, we didn't really go into the too much of discussion because I was either traveling or busy, or there were too many other issues, like competition and the league and losing games and then winning low games and then. But to be honest, once we sat down and we agreed within an hour, everything gone through. This is the club that I feel deeply for, and I feel a home here. I think my job is not finished here. It will be finished potentially when I when I bring the trophy, when the club wins the either MLS Cup or the Leagues Cup or the Supporter Shields. I am with Dean on a fact that Supporter Shields for me is the most important trophy, because you play 9 months to get something, to prove that you're the best team of the league. MLS Cup is great, but it's a gamble. One game, you lose a couple of DPs, you lose a couple of major players, you lose the game. You have bad decisions going up against you, you have a bad day in office, and you lose the game. So MLS Cup, while exciting, I'd love to win it, but I think winning Supporter Shields is the real testament to how good you are that year.
So you and Dean are aligned on that?
Yeah, I believe the same. Look, I like all the trophies, so I don't mind. I'd like to
But he
win
prefers that.
all 3 or 4 that we're going to play. But he prefers that. I would love to win Supporter Shields. For me, that would be a testament of the roster and the group that we built together, and winning. At the end of the day, being the top of the league.
You don't get a star for that.
Yeah, I don't have a ring or star for that, but I'll get a personal satisfaction.
How do you measure, I guess, if we look through the last 4 years, we've seen progression every year in the team, right? What would be progress for you next year for this club?
The progress for it's a good question, to be honest. I like that question, because progress for me is keeping the top 4 in the East, which I think is very difficult, because I think East is incredibly strong and is going to be stronger next season, because there's some clubs that hurt. Clubs like DC United and New York Red Bull, traditional historic clubs, Atlanta United, they are going to come strong in next season. So I think Eastern Conference will be even stronger next season. So top 4, again, progress. And potentially not securing a top 4 in the last game of the season. I don't want to go to Miami to needing a win to be a top 4. More points. And less losses. For me, the progress will be less losses. Number 1 progress, not as many losses, because we had too many losses this season. It's not acceptable, in my opinion. We lost some games that we should never lose. But I think top 4, more points. Let's say I wanted 55 this year. We got 59. I'll be happy with 61. Next, I think 61 would guarantee top 4. I hope, because I said 55 and it didn't this year. So it's unpredictable, the Eastern Conference, I think. Top 4 again, home field advantage, and less losses.
Nice. And then just, has there been any conversations with Wilfred Zaha about a potential extension?
Not yet. Not yet. Too early.
Any words on the Labada? Do you see him at Charlotte FC next year as well?
He's a Charlotte FC player still. We'll see what happens. I mean, he did not play as much as he wanted. He did not play as much as Dean and I wanted, that's for sure. He's a DP player. We expected more contribution from him, and I'm sure he's disappointed himself in the season that he had. I think it's something we're going to address over the next few months. But right now, he's our player, and he is a quality player as well. So, you know, obviously, that's what when I'm talking about depth. It's not unusual for the DP to go on a bench. It's not ideal, but that also is a testament of the other players that we have. Elia Labada started as a first 11 player, starter, then lost his position to Kevin Vargas, fair and square. It's not because, injury, it's because of Kevin Vargas done really well this season for us.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, actually, I was just going to ask whether it was Vargas's acceleration or about his play that created that, but you answered that. In a situation like Adilson, where you know he's going and stuff, and your scouting team is working, year-round looking for opportunities and talent like that, do you have targets already to fill that?
Yes, we do.
And stuff, and would, by any chance, like with Walker Zimmerman, leading Nashville for whatever, and you talked about bringing more leadership in, is he a profile of a player that would be under consideration?
We're not turning down any player. We have a target. I can't really go into the details. I was always an admirer of Walter. I think he's a good player. I don't know if it's possible. There are a lot of things needs to fit in for us to bring a player like Walter into the team.
Because it's not going to be inexpensive.
I would disagree with you.
Okay. Well,
or at least I think his agent would disagree with you.
yeah. No, I said it wouldn't be inexpensive.
I think he will not be inexpensive. I think it's a player with a big profile, and he
Yes.
demand
Agreed.
with the big money. I don't know if you have any other team. Again, we're going back to the league. I mean, it's not about whether you like the player or whether you want to bring him in. It's can you fit him in a salary cap?
Yeah, that's inexpensive.
So it's
we're on the same page with that.
it's the first thing we all do here. We use Excel.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out, after speaking to the agents and everyone else, and trying to figure out how everything works. That's something
Do
that
what Miami did, whatever that is.
I wouldn't like to compare us to Miami. It's a different. It's Apple and.
No, well, it's just how you get that many people from Barcelona onto your roster that aren't MPs.
It's
over your time here, because you came in early to build this whole roster that's going to continually evolve through the history of the team. Is there an acquisition or that you feel was one of your best, or one of the things that may have been least expected but proved to be really strong?
Well, there are quite a few that I think were really, really good, and there are quite a few that didn't really work out. That's the nature of the business. I in one conversation with Mr. Tepper, I said if I can pick up every player and every player is right, then I would set up my own hedge fund, buying and selling players. I wouldn't be here. I would be making low money, not as much, but potentially as the hedge fund that Mr. Tepper has. But yeah, certainly I'll be very, very popular in all the best clubs. It's a hit and miss. You never know. We're dealing with the humans after all. What you see on a pitch, what you see through analytics and data, what you see when you're watching live and when you're scouting is one thing. What you see when someone walks in the building is totally different. So yeah, and then you have to give time, as I said, and it has to fit in a team, and the coaches tactical ideas and mentality of the player, the family background, what's going on in his life. So it's so many little details need to get right. I mean, I think we got some really good signings. Malanda, certainly one. Patrick Agyemang, another one. Kevin Vargas, Christian Kalina, Nate Byrne. I mean, they were all Team Ream now. I think he helped the team a lot. Ashley Westwood, in my opinion, DP signing that was never the DP and came on and embraced Charlotte and embraced living in Charlotte and embraced MLS more than anything. Ashley Westwood is the best ambassador we ever had of MLS or Charlotte or of the whole group, ownership, everything. So we had a lot of very good ones. We had some that are well documented that we had to let go and move away. The most difficult part of my job is not bringing players in. The most difficult part is moving away the players who are not performing, because traditionally, when you bring the player in MLS of some stature, not necessarily young player, but player who has a name in Europe, you have to pay a little bit more money than for him to stay in wherever he is. And then once you do that, then very difficult to offload that player back to the Europe for the money that he has now, earning now. So this is the tough part of the job.
And over the 5 years, 6 years, is there any particular moment with this club that stands out for you?
The first time going into playoffs, winning against Inter Miami, as a positive, right? So you the first game, obviously, Bank of America filled. It's those are the moments. Opening this facility, that was a pivotal moment in our history of this club. I think changed the club and gave us a major tool to kind of keep building. Dean Smith coming in, I think changed a lot. You see what experience, respected manager can do. We had a fairly young and inexperienced before, and sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But with Dean, we got someone who knows exactly what he wants and where he's going.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to Jason and then go online.
Zoran, in my brief time covering professional soccer, one of the constants is that there's always change on the roster, but you have stability with yourself in the front office, with Dean as the head coach. But is it important also still have some stability with the core group of guys on your roster, and how important is that?
I think it's huge. I think I was just looking at in my office. There's a couple of boards with players, and I'm looking and thinking, okay, well, we have a Kalina who is still at his prime. We have a Nate Byrne who is still his prime. Had a lot of issues this season because of injuries. Missed 4 months. It's not easy. We brought Toffolo. We have a Tim Ream. We have a Privet. We have some Westwood still going strong. Then we have an attacking part that is Zaha, Archie Goodwin, Toklomati, Vargas, Abada, Pep Biel is staying with us. So Bram Bronicovic has got a new contract. So the core group of people who actually took us to the fourth in East are staying. So what we need to do is add regular starters, add that little bit of quality. So potentially to see some of the guys who helped us go all the way to fourth, dropping to the bench or playing a little bit less minutes, and then create a very healthy competition in the team.
One thing I asked Dean at the end of the season, now obviously the defeat was still kind of fresh, but he gave us honest answers as I know he could. And I heard you today sort of saying that you didn't think the attacking part was as important to address as maybe some of the defensive things and adding leadership. But it just did seem in that series with New York City that the passes were just a hair off. Like you were so close to making the proper, connecting pass and delivering a goal. Is that still something that you're going to look at and explore? Is it just like one of those like bad luck sort of? There is an interesting fact that came to us, unfortunately, after the New York City FC game. In the last 33 games we played, we failed to score in only 3. All 3 against New York City FC. So I think we need to give credit where credit due to New York City FC as well. They played at the back especially phenomenally. They created some chances and took them very well. I don't think we were
I don't think they have a better team. I think we have better teams across the all three. I think it's a tale of them taking their chances and us not taking our chances. I think our front three, obviously we missed Zaha and Pep in the first game. We missed Pep in all other games. I think that actually took the edge of our attack a lot. But again, having said all this, I think New York City FC, and I said this to the coach after the game, I went to him and congratulated him on the pitch, and I said, I know you would look at your strikers and thanking them, but you need to thank your back four, your goalkeeper and back four, because they've done phenomenal.
All right, we'll move to Carol, and then Sam.
Hey Zoran, congratulations.
Thank you, Carol.
Sorry if I missed stuff. I've gotten some calls from the school nurse, so I'm all over the place. But just your reaction to getting this new deal and just your immediate response to that.
I really, Carol, I'm grateful to the ownership in trusting me and continuing to support me. I have a very good relationship, business relationship, and even like a normal kind of I need your advice relationship with both Nicole and Dave Tepper. We talk a lot. I see them a lot. I think that helped the club, me developing. I don't think necessarily at the very beginning we were as talking as much as we're talking now, which I think it helped a lot, building the club and building the trust. And I think they see what I want to do, and they agree. I think we have similar ideas how we want to build the club. That also we have a similar idea where the club is supposed to go. So I think I'm not surprised. We started talking about potentially extending my contract in July, but to be honest, it was really unique in a way that we both trusted each other, and we did not talk about this until September, October, and then we sat down and then discussed for about 1 hour, and then agreed on everything, shake hands, and then we left it like this. And I wasn't even pressing, oh, let me sign it next day or two. I just really thought this club means a lot to me. I am very happy in this city. I think the job is not finished. I think we can go and in the next couple of years establish ourselves as a real true powerhouse of the Major League Soccer. Again, it's not easy because there are a lot of ambitious clubs. There are a lot of clubs that are willing not only to spend but willing to go the extra length, extra mile to kind of win. But I think we are on the right track. I really believe we can go and bring the love joy to our fans, our supporters, the city, and so yeah, I didn't really have any doubts whether I would like to extend. Once the ownership were happy with what I have done in the past 5 years, then it was easy decision.
Okay, and I know last year during the season there was one point where you had 2 DPs and 4 under 22 players. Where do you guys stand right now?
One of the things is the beauty of this, what you just asked me, is that we don't know. I mean, we have 3 DPs and 3 under 22 now. Well, actually, we have 3 DPs and 2 under 22 now.
Okay.
Or 3, actually, 3. We have 3. Yeah, we have 3. But these things are so movable that we don't know. We might end up, because we have to decide by the week before or the weekend before the first game. So we have plenty of time to see who will stay, who will leave, what we can add, what we cannot. And then right now I can't tell you the exact model that we will start the season with. The also good thing is you can move within a half season. So you can start with one model and continue with the other in a
So at the
summer.
moment, Pep is one of those DPs?
Correct. Pep
Okay, all right.
Pep triggered
Thank you.
the all the triggers needed for him to be a DP.
Okay, great. Congratulations, Zoran, thank you.
Thanks.
We'll go to Sam.
So I guess, who, who aged out or moved from U22 initiative to TAM, if that's the case?
No, nobody. We have a Bai Kolubali as a new addition as under 22. We have Idan Toklomati, and we have Nikola Petkovic. That's the three that we have right now.
Okay. So Kerwin's left U22.
Kerwin left. Yeah, Kerwin and both Malanda. Also, we took Malanda off some time ago, and Kerwin as well. Kerwin, we will buy him down to the TAM player.
Okay. Well, I'll apologize in advance, Zoran, that they always leave me with the hard questions. So my understanding was that Christian Fuchs's departure yesterday came as a surprise to the club, and I know that Newport County only had, they had like a 5 days of search. Was that a surprise?
For me, it's not. It was surprised of the name of the club, but I wasn't surprised that Christian is very ambitious. He worked with some good coaches, managers. Dean was the last one in that long list of the coaches that he learned. He never hid from us desire to be a head coach one day. Clearly, we couldn't offer him that, and he needed to start from somewhere. One of his stepson is in England as well, playing for Sheffield United, I believe, as a youth goalkeeper, and his family was planning to relocate to England. So he wasn't surprised that he's gone to England and found a club. I just didn't know which club he's talking to. And then, I spoke to him on several occasions in the past 2 months. And he always said to me that his desire is to be a head coach, and we wish him the best, all the best. He's done a very good job with us. It's very rare to have a captain who becomes an assistant coach and then become a head coach in a different team, and it's a good luck to him.
And for those of us who might not know how assistant contracts work, was he contracted through the year, or is it the sort of thing where they need,
He had a 3 years. He had a 3 years contract with us that is ending this December. So that was pretty straightforward, and he asked us to be taken out of his contract for the past month, and we agreed. So yeah, I would not stop him going anyway. Nobody would. Dean would not as well. We like him. He in an internal conversation, he was offered to stay, offer a new contract, but I think he wanted to go and be a head coach himself, which is fair enough.
Moving on to the performance, obviously this year, for the second year of Dean, there were really high expectations, and the team, as has been said many times, ran into injury issues. What do you think is the standard that's expected of you and Dean next year, knowing that if you don't start getting those trophies, coaches tend to have a short shelf life in professional football?
Do you know what? We won trophies. Can we promise them? No. I mean, Inter Miami, I'm sure they thought they're going to stroll through the MLS Cup, but they didn't. Let's see if they're going to do it this year. I mean, they have most incredible name on their rosters, and they still lose the games. So it really is, this league, it's a testament to this league. It's getting better. The teams are getting better. So bringing a one big DP name doesn't necessarily guarantees success or guarantees to win the games. So for me, again, I just said I want us to be if I have to single out one club that impressed me in the past 10 years in this league, this will be a Seattle Sounders. And this is the club that is always in playoffs, always fighting, sometimes second, first, fifth, doesn't matter, but they're always there or thereabout. I would like us to become as close as possible to Seattle Sounders, so our fans are not dreaming about playoffs, they're dreaming about how far we got in playoffs. But for me, it would be foolish to promise trophy, because I even if you bring Mbappe and few more and his friends, again, it's a very difficult promise, and I think it'll be not serious for me to say something. I know we want them, and we'll do everything possible. But for me to be a top 4 every year, home field advantage, competitive, bring the fans on the stadium because we play well, we score goals, we have low wins. That's what is success already, in my opinion.
Moving on to the player selections and roster decisions. Earlier today, you talked about how you feel experience is a big need for the club. Was that sort of the rationale behind going into a new contract with Brandt instead of just picking up his option for next year?
We wanted to thank Brandt for being most consistent player, perhaps. You know, he's player that played most games in the past 3 seasons. He impressed me the way just one fact, he's in gym right now. I just saw him. You don't see many. Him and Harry Toffolo in the gym, and a few younger ones. So that dedication is important. Also, being from North Carolina, from Charlotte, brings extra. We want to have a local players. We want to have a players from this territory. I think that's important. For community, for fans, this bridge between the community and the players is important. When you bring players from overseas, it's not always the same. And he deserved a new contract. It's easy to pick up the option, but I think he seriously deserved the contract the last season. We gave the new contracts to Westwood, Byrne, Kalina. They were in the same position as him. I could have taken the A options, but I thought this kind of core group of players that gives you 110% every game are very important for us to kind of keep around.
You've gone into before why Drake Callender was such an important acquisition, but what did you all see in Jibril and Tiger that led you to pick up their options and not some of the other players who were departing the club?
Well, Jibril is the player that we value a lot. I think his game better. He had a slow start. I think Jibril needs to play. When he plays better. When he sits on a bench 4 or 5 games, then the 6th game he might not perform as well as if he played in continuity 3 or 4 games. So Jibril is someone we're expecting to play a strong role. I wouldn't say major role, but I'll say strong role next season again. You need a solid, experienced midfield. You need a depth in the midfield. You need the players that are happy and are ready to step in. And I think Jibril will give us that, whether he starts or whether he comes off the bench. I think we have an experienced MLS player now. We're working on his green card as well. So hopefully he'll be domestic by the time we start the season. So that will be added bonus. And he's also a lovely boy, great professional. So we like him and we'd like to keep him around. So that's the reason. Tiger Smalls, we want to give him another year to see what he can do. He's young and he's an interesting prospect. He can play 2 positions. We think he can play striker. So he gives us a little bit more depth behind Toklomati and Archie Goodwin. And he can also play on a wing. But we see him as someone that would probably divide his time between Crown Legacy and the first team. He needs to play games. He needs games. So we hope to kind of, if he doesn't play for the first team or he's on a bench, he'll play the game for Legacy.
And then finally for me, the most interesting note to me was on Brandon Cambridge. The club still has an option. Seems like you could still exercise it or you could reach a new contract. Where are you with Brandon?
We are talking to his representatives right now and to find the best solution for Brandon. He's another one that needs to play games. It's not as simple to we can take the option, but we also have to be fair and discuss with the player his future in terms of if he take the option and he plays 1 game in the whole season or 5, it's not good for his development. So we are negotiating with his camp. We'll probably have more news at the beginning of next week.
Great, well, thank you so much for your time today, Zoran, and
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna end back in the room, so I'll go Steve and then we'll end with Will.
What's your take on the schedule for next season?
It is what it is. I mean, we knew that it's going to be complicated and difficult for the league to kind of come up with a schedule. I think Brad Purcell, the schedule man of the league, he's doing a great job in difficult circumstances. He needs to navigate some clubs, specific soccer-specific stadiums, some not. Some have a concert, some have a NFL team, some have all kind of things happening. So it's not easy, really difficult. And this year, obviously, the World Cup, we need to have a big break. So the schedule is scheduled. It is what it is. I think it's not worse than the last season, to be honest. Last season was for this season, well, just past season, was a really big challenge for us, considering the amount of games that we played away. But we'll have those moments, those games again. But yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, I actually don't mind after the first 2 games away. I think we have a 10 out of 14 at home. That can give us a bit of a push because we have a good record at home, and with our fans filling the Bank of America Stadium, we pick up a lot of points. That gives us a little bit of a kind of time to regroup for the summer, see what we can add in the summer. There'll be a very interesting market in the summer because you have how many, 64 teams in the World Cup?
48.
So 48, right?
Yeah.
48 teams in the World Cup. There will be a lot of people that likes America, might be first time in America, or extended period first time, or be not in New York, like, or Vegas for 3 days of partying. So suddenly they will see different America. They'll spend 3 weeks, and that might open the possibilities for us to hire players that now want to come to America. They're interested in American way of life and standards and everything else. So I think I'm really looking forward to see what will happen after the World Cup finishes.
Are you looking at strategically using the loan out of this facility to teams as part of a recruitment strategy?
It's we are in negotiations, from what I know, with many national teams that are interested in using these facilities. So I don't think it'll be easy to pick up a player from just because but it will be a great experience. We also had a great experience when Real Madrid came here. I spoke to Luka Modric, and he was like very impressed.
We're still waiting for him to
Yeah,
sign.
I don't think this will happen now. But for a few seconds just outside, we were talking, and I did mention to him how lovely it would be if he wants to play a little bit of a game at the end of his career in MLS. But so all these teams coming, it's certainly helping us. So for them to see the facilities, to see the Charlotte, to see the city, to enjoy the life here, so everything helps. 5 years ago, when I was telling players about Charlotte, they were like asking me, where is the place? So now the people know a little bit more, so I
I've
think it's
answered a
easier.
lot of those questions as a native over my time as well. But with the schedule, because you have, after those first 2, you got 5 at home in a stretch, and then there's the second group of 5 games. Well, the first 4, and then you have the 10-week break for the World Cup. How do you negotiate? How do you handle a break that big?
It's going to be a mini pre-season again. We'll give boys a couple of weeks off, and then we'll start a mini pre-season. We'll hopefully try to find some very good games, maybe even some here to play, and then start the pre-season. It is what it is. I mean, as I said, this is a very unique season for us, so we all had to adapt. There's no other way around.
I know you mentioned you've been a big thing about Tokomati being untouchable. Is there anybody else in this window that you would feel is untouchable?
Nobody is untouchable, including Tokomati. We're not going to weaken the team. That's my point. We are going to, if anything, strengthen the team. So Tokomati would need to stay because he's an important part of this team. So everybody who makes this team better is untouchable.
How about Kerwin Vargas? I know that there might be teams who could be interested in him. what do you feel like would have to happen if you were to move on from him?
Well, right now I don't want to really sell or move Kevin. He's done really great for us. He signed up 1 year ago, signed a new long-term contract. So we're in good position on that front. I have a good relationship with his agent. He came recently. We discussed Kevin and his game. I think he can do even better than what he's done this year. If there is an offer that we cannot refuse, we will talk and see what happens. But that's a normal thing in every soccer club in the world. You know, it's
Have there
it
been
depends.
offers for Kerwin?
There have been offers for Kevin, but we didn't do it because we didn't want to weaken the team again. So if anything happens, will have to happen on our terms, on our timing. That would allow us to replace every player that leaves. We have to have enough time to replace, number one, and every player that leaves, we have to have a option to that actually is improving the team.
I know that you have Rodolfo Loco coming. You have maybe a chance for Chibu to maybe be in preseason. How do you feel about your winger depth beyond the two guys who would start?
Well, right now we have Abada, Kemi Vargas, and Zaha. I challenge you and anybody else to find me better 3 wingers on any roster right now in any team. I think our top 3, top 5, if you add Pep Biel and Toklomati, are absolute elite in this league. If you're starting the game with Zaha and Toklomati and Abada or Vargas and Pep Biel behind them, I think that's elite for this league.
Jorge, last one.
Is it a concern at all that like both of your strikers are 20 years old or 21 around that age, you know, as the thought process, or has it come to your mind maybe adding a little bit of experience in that striker position? More of a veteran?
No, I would worry if my 2 strikers are 34. This is what worries me way more if they're 21. And generally, I prefer how I like to build the teams. I like more experience at the back and more legs up front. That's how I like. And if I use some other, let's say NBA, Oklahoma, they have a lot of young players and they're winning with young players. Young players are not the problem of winning, but you have to add the right depth and right experience around them. So I really don't worry. I think we have a very good 2 strikers. I think Archie Goodwin would impress you all. We impressed all of us so far. Unfortunately, he wasn't playing enough. He didn't manage to score the goal, but he will score goals, and he will be really good competition for. If this league, again, is different in terms of salary cap and in terms of roster build, yes, I would like to bring another striker who is a different profile. Like, for example, not to quote me, 6'4", big, powerful striker who can come in last 10 minutes and when we're losing the game against New York City can create havoc in a box.
You sold one of those.
But
They're
really,
developing.
was I? Because that wasn't the Pat Ajaman game. He wouldn't come into the box and make a havoc. He would go into the space and outrun opponent. But he wasn't. His heading was not the elite or the best. I mean,
No, but
I think Toklomati's
physicality.
heading is better. Well, physicality, but you need to know how to use physicality. He was young and he didn't know particularly. He will learn in Championship in England. I can tell you that.
No, I mean, Idan is a ball hawk in the air.
Yeah,
and
this
stuff,
is
and
yeah.
he gets up there, he doesn't have
Yeah.
the bulk,
Yeah.
but, yeah, Patrick had that part of
Yeah.
his game. too.
Again, we're going back to the league and what I have option. I can't keep Patrick with his new contract requirements and have Idan and he keep them all. It's very, very difficult. You know, you have to make those choices and I think we made the right choice with
All
letting Patrick go.
Yeah, last one here to Will.
Can we infer with your comments about the experience at the back that you would prefer an experienced center back to pair with Ream as opposed to going the young ascending route like you did with Adi when you brought him in?
Yes, but we already have one that might be new Amalanda in the building. His name is Morrison Ajamang, and he's only 20, and he has a opportunity to become one day very, very good player. But he's young, he's inexperienced. He had one season behind him. Ever before, he was in Ghana and playing one season in Croatian top league. So I think we're looking for a starting 11 central defender. If in the meantime Morrison Ajamang proves us wrong, happy days.
Right. Thank you, Zoran. Thank you guys for joining.